I'm just gonna wait a little bit for people to get in. We are live. Hi. Hi. Just gonna wait for more people to get in. Yes, I know. Not down by the layout because we don't have a finished basement, so. But yeah. My. If you want to come in, I can. If you want to come in and talk. But yeah, so. Oh, that's fine. The layout is coming along great. I just haven't really felt like doing any work on it. I've got like a layout design plan. It's just normal me being lazy and not really wanting to get anything done, but that will probably. Yeah, hi, sexy kill. But yeah, the layout is really coming along well. I just have been really too lazy to put down the cork, like actually get it down and stuff. Found out I was running my Steam engine because I actually got it back about, I think, a couple weeks ago. And I was running that on a call with my friend yesterday. And the engine likes to derail on like one piece of track, like the transition. Well, yes, it's a really bad dip. My GP40X also likes to derail there. So in this extension, we're going to fix that. We're going to fix that part and we're going to do the extension. But yeah, also, I'm off school today, so I'm like, yeah, let's change it up and not do a video and actually do a live stream. So that's the reason for this. And more of like, I, so also the other thing is, I know Sexy Kilt knows this, but I'm trying to do a train sim scenario, like get one out on the Steam Workshop, like every day I'm on Christmas break. So yeah, so I'll be making my own route and stuff, like a little switching route. See how it works out. But yeah, Oh, that sounds fun. Train Freak. Yeah, let me just see. I think everything's going great. Oh, the route will be, I have no name for it. It's like a switching route where you can do like transfer runs and you can like switch out industries. It was kind of going along with what you were saying, Sexy Kill, in Discord about like the switching out part. I am more of like, I don't like doing passenger scenarios because I just find them a little bit boring, but that's just me. And also, I'm doing scenario creation with 3 people, which, oh, let me just get the website up. I'll share what we were going to be doing and what I have been working on Train Sim 2021 lately. It's like always like my computer is like slow, but I got this. Totally got this. If you're talking about Train Sim for that, go to the Dovetail forums and suggest that. Not everything is made on there, but like somebody will see it that works on Train Sim and will create a workshop scenario or route. But yeah, um, this is what, so there's 3 of us doing this. So this is what we've been working on is we've been working on this website, which is the whole goal of this is to contest High Iron, which High Iron is known for having like really good US scenarios. And actually in Train Sim, they have not had competition in the US scenarios yet. So that's why we created Highball, was to get them some content, some competition. And I'll say what I've been working on, but yes, the scenario screenshot that is from my scenario. So I have a scenario planned for here, which is you're basically taking people from Fort Lauderdale to wherever the end of the route is on Miami to West Palm Beach to, and then there'll be another driver take over for you to get to St. Petersburg for the race because you're ferrying people for the IndyCar race on the streets of St. Petersburg. Here's what I've been working on is if you've seen Donna Rails, the Avalanche Rotaries video, that is what this scenario is based off of. And it's a bay window caboose. FYI, if any of the people are listening to this from Dovetail or any other of the Train Sim like creators is please make snowplows. We need US snowplows for train sim. More of like flangers and spreaders and rotaries. Yes, there's a Just Train ZZA, but that's British. Yes, there is like all 6 heritage units in this scenario too. So that is one of my scenarios. The other one is more of a nighttime scenario. This is part 2 of this one, but this is actually when the avalanche takes place at Snowshed 10. And you're driving that same BN GP38. And then yes, if you're wondering why there's not the icicle breakers on the top, is because there is none that have that in Train Sim. But I'll show what what the other people have been working on. These are actually CSX 3194 scenarios right here. This one is actually 716 Railfans scenario on the Coal District. I've played the Coal District. It's a hard route to control your speed on. I've been like the first scenario I played, I did it in 2 days because I had to stop partway through because I ran out of time before I had to go somewhere. And I'm pretty sure I was in full dynamics going down the many hills. And yes, these are both CSX 3194 scenarios. Full disclaimer, I'm actually going to be the one that does the scenarios for the BNSF, UP, and CP routes, which the UP does include the SP and WP, and the BNSF does include the BN too. 716's got the CSX routes and the Northeast Corridor, and CSX 3194 has got the Norfolk Southern and CN. But yeah. That's yes. Yes, the rotary snowplow, we have got some, but like the one that's really good that comes with like piles of snow is actually from I think Just Trains, and it's a rotary and stuff. It's a rotary, but it's German. Yeah, BNSF does have that rotary, but it's more of like we don't even have like anything. The best BNSF route we have is probably Stevens Pass. And that was actually made by GNTX, I think, is what it's under on the Train Sim where you find to get the assets? Yes, I will. Now the questions. Train Freak asked me, what is your favorite rare never existed? Well, that would, like, if my favorite rare never existed, which by the way is the UP, which rare would be your favorite one that you would want to model after? I would probably have to say the Wisconsin Central. The Wisconsin Central, like, they had a weird history, but they had a really good history. And they had ore trains, like the all-rail ore trains, which I read in the beginning. They would reference a ore train because they only had one on the system. They would just say dispatch to ore train, and you wouldn't have to say like the numbers or anything because there's only one ore train on the system at the time. Before they merged into CN, there's more ore trains on the system. That's fine, 716. I know that you're doing a little bit of rail fanning on a short line that has Alcos near you, if I'm right. Totally fine. Totally fine. Oh. Oh, you're not even doing the rail fanning. Oh, crap. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. You guys have that really big storm. But yeah, if you guys want to come on and talk, I'm totally fine with that. But yeah, there's like, I've heard that like Amazon and FedEx have been like behind. They got a little bit behind on because that nor'easter that came through. They got a little bit behind on because that nor'easter that came through. They got a little bit behind on because that nor'easter that came through. They got a little bit behind on.
What the hell is going on?
Nor'easter that came through. Don't ask me. Yeah, close your tab. If you have two open, close your tab. Don't ask
me. Hang on, I got it. It's my fault. There, I fucked it up. I'm good now. Ooh.
Totally fine.
All right.
But I was actually I've done a couple of scenarios for Train Sim, but there's just a lot I want to do, but like because I have to go to school and stuff, and I never get the time. And then like my parents like normally want me off the computer.
Sorry, I'm having crap fall apart here. I gotta fix that outlet. Anyway.
Oh yeah, Randall. I've had that happen where we've more of like had to give a present to one of my cousins, and we've actually been like, how can we fit this ball in this box when there's already another present in it? Surprisingly, we got it done though.
Good. So my wife's here.
If I were to drive a passenger train, I'd probably be like, because I drive passenger trains and train sim, and I'm like listening to a video like half of the time when I'm trying to like drive the train, because I'm like bored. Like, you need to have action in it or like a storyline behind it. It's just me though. It's like a storyline makes it more fun. Like a freight train, like anything can go wrong. You've got like a long train, and you've got a lot of power.
Most of the time it's boring though.
Yeah, most of the time it's boring, but like when something happens, it's usually exciting.
Actually, I think the most exciting part of any railroad is probably local shifting. Anything like not, I don't really care for road trains, but any of the like locals and stuff where you got a lot of back and forth and shifting and stuff to do is my preference as a conductor and as an engineer too. So
yeah, when I'm like doing train sim, I do prefer doing like switching and stuff, because you have that like thing where like if you mess up, you mess up, and you're like basically hurting somebody's package and a boxcar, some load.
yeah.
But like you get like rewarded for like assembling a train.
Sorry, I gotta make space here. My wife walked in the door and she wanted to unpack the groceries and stuff and gave me that look where I have to go downstairs.
Yeah.
All right.
I've gotten that many times where, but yeah. But yeah, there's a passenger train would be kind of fun. I've done like the Pittsburgh, not trying to think of the name. I think it's the one of the Northeast Corridor, and I was overspeeding and I didn't realize it. And then they had me like switch tracks, and I went over it at like 125 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's probably not good.
The train stayed on the track, but there was like excessive tilting, but came back to center.
I didn't even think it would stay on the track at 125.
Well, it's train simulator, so anything can happen.
Oh, okay. What's going on here? I'm all over the place today. Oh, unbelievable. Anyway, I'll plug that in later. I see a Patrick, but I don't see a.
Yeah.
Where's Mr. Engineer Faulty? I thought he was coming to play too.
I thought so. Apparently everybody has stuff to do.
I do too. I don't got to work till 6, but
yeah.
I have.
Christmas break is always like the best time of having school off.
I wouldn't know. My wife would know. She's a teacher. She is off Christmas break and all kinds of different times.
Yeah, when you're like in school, it's always like you always look forward to Christmas break because it's longer than Thanksgiving break, and
yeah, and it's halfway between.
Yeah, I've stayed up till about like 1 a.m.
Mhm.
New Year's Eve, like till I've stayed up till 1 a.m. on New Year's Day. So I was with some friends because I had them over at my house, and we were just like playing on our Wii and stuff, and completely stayed up till like 1 in the morning.
That's a normal night for me. Like, we start at 6 and we're done. Usually, last night we didn't get done till like 4 o'clock in the morning. So it was a rough one. No coffee, but get used to it.
I would I would have to say I've seen we were going to a birthday party and I've seen one of the CN Blue SD70 Aces, the patched when they hadn't repainted them yet, like before 2015.
Where'd they get them from?
That CN got them from EMD. They're
Oh,
the demonstrators. They were short of power.
okay.
I actually have a photo of it, and it was trailing on an intermodal train to a Dash 9
Mm.
that was in the CN paint. And I'm like, is that the future of CN's paint scheme? Nah, I learned later, no, it wasn't. I wish that they would have done a heritage unit in that. It would have looked cool though. It would have looked better than the CN one. The technically it's just they slapped a sticker on the nose.
Yeah. I don't know. Everybody's in this the heritage unit kick. All the railroads, not really CSX. I think they're just trying to recover from PSR. Well, CN's over it already. They got rid of Harrison and his cronies, as well as I think CP did too. So they're on the upside of it. Unfortunately, the rest of us are still in the thick of things. But that list that I said were the companies that are the worst to work for in the United States. Union Pacific was on the top of that list, followed by NS, followed by two other. I think like Amazon was number 3 or 4, and then CSX was number 5. So that gives you a pretty good idea of what we're going. Oh, and then our company too. They just right before Christmas they furloughed a bunch of mechanical employees. So that'll give you a good idea.
Yeah, that totally sounds like Norfolk Southern.
Who says that's who I work for?
I was like, that totally sounds like what they would do.
Oh yeah, is that that question at the bottom there? What's your favorite rail for train memory? Probably when I was a kid, my grandfather would take me down to watch Amtrak in New Jersey. I had that, and like I said, a couple other things that go into train shows and stuff. But I don't think that was the. I think that was the prototype was the question there. So I'll either go with that
Yeah.
or when we used to go to Reading to Beltline to watch trains there. So
Yeah, we would always because we would drive up to my grandma and grandpa's, which is 2.5 hours away, which is actually where I am now is not at my grandma and grandpa's because I have better Wi-Fi here than there.
yeah,
They're like in the middle of nowhere. They have a farm, doesn't work anymore
yeah.
because they've sold everything off. They
Where,
still do.
where,
They
where
do plant and
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to step on you. Where are you? Whereabouts? Like, I didn't even. Where are you at? Where are you out of?
I'm in Wanakee right now, Wanakee, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay, all right. So they're like,
They live up in Black Creek out in the countryside
okay,
around there. Yeah. So we would always the interstate would just go parallel for about 2 to 3 minutes to CN main line.
yeah,
And we just happened to get lucky and see that ace because it was paralleling the highway.
okay.
I did get to see the big boy twice last year too.
I don't have any kind of response when it comes to Steam. I'm not a big fan of Steam. So I'll just
I was going to see the Sioux Line 1003, but just never panned out. I had driver's ed that weekend, and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's always not fun. It's always not fun when you totally didn't calendar steam like freight excursion that's like only one for the year.
I think we had one or two for a while there. Actually, they had a steam excursion for our employees back in 2017 or 16. It was like a 12-hour round trip from Bethlehem all the way up to Pittston and back. It was nice, according to the guys that went. I never went. Like I said, I'm not really a big fan of steam. I don't.
I'm not a big fan of steam, but we were like, it's the big boy, and it's probably they're gonna probably not run it through Wisconsin again.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm like, it's more of like it's probably not gonna come through. So I'll see it now than miss it and see it later.
Yeah.
Because we actually had to go down to Chicago because we were more of like that was a little bit closer, and we actually drove a part of the way, and then we took, I think, Metro the rest of the way, and we got lucky that West Chicago was one of the stops. Just had to go
Yeah.
on the sidewalk over the overpass, and you're basically there.
Yeah. Like I said, though, I can wait for the steam engine to become razor blades, and so I'm very unpopular
You need to go
opinion.
open all those cans for that. Help them out.
Nothing. That's
What are you doing?
I'm just
Just
When
you're on a
you're
live
done-
stream. That's all.
clearly a mom being a little bit nosy. But yeah, sometimes like I've heard that some of the steam excursions have been great. I didn't even know the 844 came through near us, and then I like looked on road picture archives for the N car.
Yeah.
Completely, yeah, didn't know it came through. But yeah, it's more of like sometimes I like steam, sometimes it's like I could really care less. Like
Yeah.
it's more of like you have a love-hate relationship with it.
Yeah. I mean, there's some guys. I'm not downing anybody that likes it or whatever. It's just my personal opinion. Like I don't really have a dog in the fight for it. Like I don't I can care less. So I mean, again, that's my opinion. I don't, but everybody, everybody else has their own thing. So
That was like with the big boy. They had like a tier 4 ace behind it. They had the water tenders, and then they had the in tier 4 ace for braking, and they had the passenger cars, and you could just see like how much bigger the engine was compared to the passenger cars.
I know they have to run it with a diesel on the main line in case something would happen, it breaks down, and they have to get it to a siding really quick because they are running on an active main line. It's not like they shut that hole down. They still run trains, in front, behind of it. So
Yeah,
that's why they always, any kind of steam thing that they run, they'll put a diesel with it anymore just in case they have to get it out of the way. So
actually with UP, that's half of why they put the diesel behind it.
Yeah.
I've talked to Ed Dickinson on Facebook, and he said the diesel is actually there for dynamic braking.
I mean, you can do it with the air brakes. You don't really need dynamic braking. It's nice, but you have no way of controlling the dynamic brakes from the steam engine. There has to be somebody in the locomotive in the diesel as well.
Yeah. I'm part of the UP Steam group, and I've heard that like there's been regular people that have sat in the cab for a part of the ride, and they basically done nothing because the brakes on the big boy were enough. But I think they had to use the dynamics going down like Cajon and stuff probably.
I think that's because that's a requirement by rule that they have to have working dynamic brakes to go over Cajon Pass ever since they had that accident. Well, a bunch of accidents. The one where the SP went down and crashed into
Yeah,
that town. That was one of them
yeah,
where
and then
dynamic brakes were.
the coal train, that UP coal train that was slammed from behind by that Santa Fe too.
Yeah, that one too. But the one that started it all was the SP train that ran away down the hill because I think
Yeah,
if I remember correctly, when that left the initial terminal, I think only like less than 30% of their dynamic braking was working before they left. So
and they also, I think they were also overweight too in that.
yeah, the Trona train.
Yeah, yeah, they were overweight and somebody didn't weigh the cars right or something.
Well, there was that, and then I think there was a hose that was kinked too. There wasn't
There
wasn't a proper brake test done, I believe, either with the dynamic or with the actual air. So
when they got to the top, they did an air thing, but like they released it, and I think they thought, yeah, we have brakes, and they just proceeded down and really didn't.
there's a fellow on YouTube that has like an overview of all the railroad accidents.
Yeah,
That was one of them.
isn't it Thunderbolt 1000 Siren Productions?
Yeah, Thunderbolt. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's the guy that has all the
Yeah, I've seen his videos. His videos are really informational on the accidents and stuff.
Yeah.
But like one of his most recent ones, I think he like did that one 2 years ago and he put it out on YouTube and he like premiered it like not that long ago again. Which was a little bit strange.
Which one was that?
It was like I think it was it was a train that was going to like a ski resort. Like it was the only way up or down from the resort, and it was like opening weekend.
I think that was the one up in Canada. There was one where it was Via Rail and CN ended up on the same track. I think
no, this was like an incline. It was like an incline though.
Oh, really? Oh, it might have been a different one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I like his videos, so his videos tell you like a lot about the wreck. Like you just need to watch his video to find out what happened.
Yeah, well, a lot of the information you can also find on the NTSB site. They have like pictures and graphics and everything. Like he made it easier. But if you really want to read the whole story and see some of the engine tapes and just about everything that went into the investigation, you go to the NTSB site and look up. If it was in the United States, like there's an extensive amount on the Graniteville accident in South Carolina with the chlorine tank car back in.
Oh yeah.
As shortly, I think that happened shortly after I hired, or probably 4 or 5 years after I hired. Yeah, it was a pretty bad one.
I heard that actually in Washington 2 days ago that BNSF derailed an oil train.
They put another one?
The sky didn't look pretty either. Yep, they put another one on the ground, I think.
Wow. That's unfortunate for BNSF, really, because they're the only ones they're the ones actually putting money into their infrastructure. So I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, I've seen like only one photo, and it was like mostly of the sky, and you could just see like black smoke coming up.
Interesting. I'll have to look that one up tonight.
I found it on Facebook though.
Oh, yeah.
Facebook or Reddit. I don't remember which one.
Two sites I'm not even on. I don't have any of that stuff. So. But. That's my preference. Kind of stay off social media.
Yeah, I'm mostly why I'm in there is I just am on there. I just joined train groups. Like I'm on Detroit Air Model Railroading and on Facebook and a couple buy sell trades and the UP Steam group.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, I'm the old school. I'm still on the Model Railroad Hobbyist forum, and well, of course the Discord chat with you guys. So.
Yeah, I've used the Discord chat. Like sometimes that's coming helpful when you're like, I can't find anything on this, and yeah.
Yeah. It's just
sometimes somebody will have.
Oh, sorry, man.
Like somebody will have some knowledge on what you're talking about, and
yeah. I just wish there was a way to search, like you can search through it instead of like because otherwise you have to go back through the messages and stuff. But
yeah. It's just like if you've used Google Docs, you do Control F, and it'll pull out like this little search bar, and you just search up, and it'll like on the side it'll show you all the matches, and you can
really?
directly jump to there.
I didn't know that. Okay, well, learn something every day.
Yeah.
I'm out of coffee.
I'll try to find some of the things about the oil train that derailed. I'll see about that. But I think it was pretty bad though. It was pretty bad from the photo I remember seeing today or something. Like it was pretty bad. It looked like from the smoke coming up.
All right. Yeah, just put it in the general up there so we can we'll see what it's about. One of the general, I think it's the general or either that or the rail fan group in the Discord.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. You have any questions?
But yeah, near me, like,
what?
No, but near me, we get a lot of staff trains, like, and with the big boy, like, it was an active main line. We were like, why didn't they like treat us with another train before? Because it was a coal train was the last one that came through before the big boy, and you could have at least put another train in between because it stopped at like some town. And apparently the town before it, because it passed us, we weren't there to see it stop.
Mm-hmm.
There was an old signal bridge that people climbed on top of because it had like the walkway and stuff.
Yeah.
And somebody came to where we were and they were like, yeah, I got out of that town as fast as I got in it because I knew everybody would be going there to get a picture of it from above on that signal bridge.
Yeah. Again, back to your point there before, you said there was no trains in between. By rule, a passenger train has to have an absolute block on, especially if the steam engine doesn't have like modern like cab signaling and stuff like that. So there has to be an absolute block between the hind end, and I don't know the UP's rules, but I believe ours with the steam rules. So. You kind of can't
it was
run
like
it.
More. It was like not like one block. It was more of like 2 to 3 blocks. It was a couple hours.
Well, no, an absolute block is like from one checkpoint to another, like a CP point. So like the block signals in between them, it's from like an interlocking. So they gotta like once it gets into that space in between the interlocking, they gotta block it out so that no other train can go in between in the block with it. That's what I meant by an absolute block.
That makes sense because I was wondering why they didn't put another train through like. But we were in South Beaver Dam, which there's really nothing there, except for a grain mill that has its own little switcher.
Yeah,
and that grain mill was loud too.
They usually are. Yeah, we got one we shift.
Yeah, and that was just standing on like the other side of the tracks from it. And then like the bar near the tracks didn't even have any clue that they could make money on the steam train and actually like have like a lunch and stuff and like set tables out there.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't know anything about it.
Well, that's bad. I would have been upset with that. This potential customers that are lost. So
Yeah, like you could have at least put like tables
something.
out there. Yeah, at least something.
Yeah.
It wasn't like right up like to the tracks. It was about like a little like it was like a little ways back,
Yeah.
but like it was kind of near the crossing, so you could kind of see the train a little bit from a distance.
Hmm.
Oh, my favorite rail fan spot would be where I've done those two videos of that the Baraboo rocket passing, which is that Wisconsin Southern train. I caught that 3 times this summer, and we were actually going to try to catch the WC unit, the one that GP38 or GP40 that was left in WC colors. We were going to come back and we were going to a different way, come back home from Green Bay. I checked on Heritage units that day. It was going up to Canada. You know how mad that made me? Because it was a switcher in Stevens Point for about like a year. I think it's not been repainted though, but I'm not entirely sure. It's like WC 3018, I think was the number.
I know nothing of your area.
But yeah, I was like, that was also made me mad. And I think like we were like, yeah, we can totally just catch the Western Maryland CSX sticker unit. Went through Columbus because we went over the overpass. Apparently a couple hours late. Early or late, I don't have a scanner, so I'm like, we didn't see it going under us. So it had to be early or late.
I can a lot of that. There's to have anything that's scheduled is ridiculous. And as we go through the operations discussion, you'll see why. With the car turnaround time and trying to make connections across across an entire railroad is almost nearly impossible because you have to start scheduling with something. But if something else goes wrong in that schedule, then it's just a domino effect to where everything either runs really late or really early. And I mean, they're trying, but
yeah, it was foreign power too, because it was on CP and it was foreign power and like the only unit on a unit grain train.
I mean, foreign power doesn't affect anything at all because that's usually the railroads have like a reciprocal agreement for horsepower hours. So like you'll see an NS train out west, an NS engine out west. You'll see a UP train come east, and they do the same thing with their markers too. You'll see a UP marker on an NS train, and they have an agreement like they charge so much for use of the marker, and it's a whole different a whole subset of stuff to understand. But as far as we're going back to the operations and the scheduling of trains is almost nearly impossible unless it's a passenger train that has complete right of way and can stop. But like if you're trying to schedule a freight train, there's so many variables in that. It's almost nearly impossible. An intermodal train's a little bit better because they have certain times that the trailers actually have to be there, and there's that whole thing at an intermodal terminal, but then you got other traffic on the line on your way to another terminal. So there's like so much that goes into it. And if there's congestion in any way, or there's a train that breaks down or something holds up, it's just, it turns into a big pile of crap, actually. So I don't know. That's really my take on that whole schedule thing. So that's why you end up with trains that are 4 hours late or 3 hours early, or depending on where you're at within that whole line, the track line. So
Yeah, that makes sense though. I felt like we were just late, like we left a little bit late, or we got there a little bit earlier than the train.
But there's a whole bunch of different things that could have went wrong or could have happened that delays a train even 5 minutes, that over the course of the line turns into like a 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden 2 hours, and then 3 hours. It could have been that one delay, that 5 minutes that held it up from making it to an interlocking where another train would have waited for it, but it didn't because it got there first, and then you had to wait for that train that set you back. And it's just, it turns into, like I said, it turns into a little 5 minute delay can turn into 2 hours really fast. So within the railroad. But we could talk. I mean, well, I'll add, as we go along with that operations discussion, I'll add a lot to it. But like I said, right now we got the simple yard and the simple directions, and you'll see as it progresses, you start to kind of understand more if you follow it along from the beginning all the way up to the point where we start adding branch lines and engine jobs and other things that just the variables that you throw in there that kind of throw everything off. Like in a perfect world where you have just like that simple yard diagram and simple trains, it works to where you can schedule it. But when you start adding options and variables and just stuff that doesn't really, like things that happen every day, then you can see how it turns into, delay and just an inefficient system, essentially, that you're trying to turn into something that's supposed to be on par with trucks, but you can't do that. I mean, maybe it can be done, but I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard that like some of the railroads are now going to start doing autonomous trucking.
Yeah, when trucks run without drivers, that's the other thing. Like the crew rest also has a big part to play on train time. Same thing with trucks too. They're only allowed to work, at least when I was there, you only work 15 hours, but that's what you work 5 and you have off 4, work 5, have off 4. That was a long time ago. I don't know what the rest rules for trucks are right now though. But if you're running an autonomous truck, there is no rest rules. You can run it from point A to point B without stopping in between, unless you have to fuel. And most trucks can go, let's say, 150-gallon tank. You have a 250-gallon tank, it's 300 gallons. And if you're going 10 miles to the gallon, you can go quite a distance without refueling. So,
about this is, I don't have a scanner currently, but I've caught a barn unit in CN paint with like the zebra stripes leading an intermodal train or a mixed freight train down near Neenah, Wisconsin. I think it was one of the Dash 8 units too.
I think those are the only ones left on the CN. I believe they sold all their SD60s and 50s.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago, though. I didn't even know they existed.
The Dash 8Ms?
Yeah, I knew they existed, but I didn't think any still existed today. when I seen it.
Well, I do believe those Dash 8Ms were at the end of the Dash 8 production within the GE, so they were probably newer out of the Dash 8s. Same thing with the the Conrail C40-8Ws that had the Dash 9 radiator tab on it. They were towards the end of the production too. That's why CN bought a lot of them. So you'll see a lot of the former Conrail stuff on CN, like the LMS units.
Yeah.
Like they still have, I'd say they still have pretty good life left to them. And CN really doesn't beat the crap out of them either. So.
The other thing I can't wait for is we have near us, we have a short line. Well, it's more of a museum that they do like train rides and stuff. And I think 1999 was the last time they actually had steam running up there, which was the Chicago Northwestern 1385. And it was need of a like rebuild. And they started the rebuild, I think, back in 2010 or something, and they're still not done with it.
It's good. Parts are scarce.
Yeah, it's an R10, I think, class. It's a 10-wheeler, though.
Like I said, parts are scarce for a lot of that stuff, and the only way you can manufacture something is you have to make it yourself. And that's why a lot of that stuff is just scrapped.
I think like only last year they put the boiler on or something. Like they sold the tender off because the tender was so. Yes, I did know that CN still has SD60s.
Not the cowl bodies, they don't. They sold those.
Not the cowl bodies, but the standard ones, yes. I've seen many of those.
Where'd they get those from?
I think they ordered them. I know I have a books. I think I just try. There it is. I can see how to Canada and stuff. Diesel Spotter's Guide.
Yeah.
What is it? SD45. I think this is SD60 or that's probably 70. 60, maybe?
I know they got the SD70s from IC, but the IC never had SD60.
Yeah, they.
CP was the one that got 60s from the Sioux.
Yeah, Sioux had them, but approximately I think there was the SD60s were 536 were made for the U.S., none for Canada, none for Mexico.
Yeah.
The SD60F, there was only 64 of them made and only for Canada. And then we had 541 of the SD60Ms for US and SD60 Max for them be on test beds, I remember right.
There's one standard SD60 with the SD70 trucks. And that was the demo number 4, I believe.
Yeah. This is demo number 3.
Is that the one that had the
right
60 to 70 trucks, or is it the other one?
This is the. I think it's the other one.
Yeah, the blue units that were there, the blue and white ones. There's one of them that had SD70 trucks on it, the radials.
But yeah, this is actually a really good book because it tells you like how much horsepower they had. like the what is it? Like it's the SDP 38 or something that had like the international trucks on it that WC got. That's SD 39. That's what I'm thinking of as the 39.
Which
The
one?
ones that were built for the Milwaukee, the SDP 39s.
You're thinking the SDL 39.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
The short one that was built for the lightweight rail.
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm. They're all down in Chile, right?
I don't think. Really?
Yeah, there still exist. Chilean Railroad has them. They retrucked them for their gauge or whatever, and they're down there.
I was like, yeah, there's no way that they would have gone down there with the standard gauge trucks and run down there. Because I'm like, if they're down there, they're probably not lasting with those standard gauge trucks.
Well, no, they don't have the standard gauge. I mean, they have whatever gauge they have down there. I don't know what it is, but that's where a lot of the old Conrail C30-7As and their C36s went down there. But they went to a standard gauge somewhere down in Brazil. Same thing with they got brand new.
But the SDL 39, there's only 10 of them made.
Yep.
Yeah, and they more of like had those like special trucks, and I remember seeing a video, like a cab ride with it on YouTube of one of them, and they were used in like the Upper Peninsula only.
Yeah, and the lightweight rail branch line.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was for the bridges, so they can handle the weight rating or the weight rating on the. It's basically spreading the weight of the engine out over more wheels.
I'm just because I have a window in my room right now. I'm like, oh, this looks nice. They said that there's gonna be extreme winds today. I think it's kicking in now.
Yeah, it's blowing around.
Yeah,
it's sunny here.
It got like I came on and it was sunny.
Yeah.
And like now it's Wisconsin in a nutshell. We can get like clear skies like 1 second, and then it can be like downpouring the next second.
Yeah. Anyway,
or snowing.
It's time for me to go. I got to get ready for work and head out. But thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, you too.
Have a good day, bud.
You too. I have to do stuff. If you heard my parents, yes, I have to do stuff too. So this will be the end of it for me. So with that, happy rail fanning, happy model railroading, and stay safe.